Hello! Alright, just really quickly before I actually say anything of importance, can I get a couple quick things? One, can I get a sound check? And two, can somebody check that YouTube is functional? Because Streamlabs is not my friend. That's all. Before I do anything crazy and important, because if I'm talking to myself right now, then I don't want to go on like a whole rant, no one can hear me. So let's make sure first, beforehand. I don't know how well my microphone sounds either. I know it's a good microphone generally, but I've never done a live stream with this computer before. So hi! I'm in my own house and everything, trying to see if literally any of this was functional. I know there's a 30-second delay, but I've been talking for more than 30 seconds, so that makes me a little concerned. I'm a little concerned that no one can hear me. Hello? Okay. Alright, wonderful. Sound good. Audio is functional. I don't know if YouTube is functional. I tried to check it, but unfortunately it does not let me because I'm signed into a different YouTube account on my phone and everything's a mess. It seems that YouTube is functional though. There's a little YouTube button. Okay, cool. It says YouTube good. Alright, awesome. Cool. Hi. In that case, hello everyone. I've done it. Everything worked successfully on the first try, which has never happened before and will never happen again. So wonderful. Great. Alright, so really quickly as a disclaimer, I have 1,000,001 things to do tonight, including schoolwork, work, and at some point grocery shopping, ideally before the sun goes down. So, I don't have a whole lot of time to do this, so you guys are kind of getting the quick version of updates, but I am here, and I am not dead, so that's good. So, first of all, Atlantic. There is an area of interest, eastern and central tropical Atlantic, but its main development region, I don't know what, it's out there. South of the Cabo Verde Islands, kind of near them, but south of them. Near 0% chance of development in the next 2 days, because not dry air and lack of instability, but 50% chance through 7 days later in the week it might do something, maybe. And my tabs are completely out of order and everything is a mess. And where am I? Okay, hang on, let's do this. I don't know. Alright. It's been forever since I've done any of this, and this tab shouldn't even be here. Close tab. No, I don't want to ask an AI chatbot about my tabs. I think I'm okay. Thank you, Firefox. Alright, so this is your context. This is why we don't have a system right now. So if you look, I don't actually have crayons on this computer, by the way, so I can't draw anything, so we're just gonna have to go off of my words. I tried to get them, but I'm not using the same browser that Casper uses, and that means that it doesn't actually exist. So I'm in a little bit of a situation. No crayons. We're just gonna have to, we're just gonna wing it. So this is my little cursor that you can't see. Can you see it? You can see it, but it's super tiny. So I just need everybody pay really close attention. So, alright, so our area of, our little X on the outlook is over here, or here technically. You can kind of see moisture south of Cabo Verde Islands. Look at the little blue and green blob. And then if you look, the direction that it's moving, it's about northwest-ish from that area. There's a bunch of dry air. And then as I move this forward, there is still a bunch of dry air, kind of directly in its way. But then it kind of manages to shake that. And then, because it shakes the dry air, it might be able to do something. It doesn't fully shake it, especially not on the GFS. The GFS is a little scared and confused. But, yeah. It might shake the dry air, and if it does, and you guys are bullying me over my lack of crayons, if it shakes the dry air, then it might be able to develop into something, but if not, then it can't really do a whole lot, and it's not expected to really shake that dry air for at least the next 48 hours or so. It looks like on the Euro, probably around maybe hour 72, 98, 98, yeah, that's what that number says, 96, and then it starts maybe doing something, but around 5 days or so is where it starts to look functional. We don't have to worry about any obscene gestures that you can see. I don't have a camera. I'm kidding, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. I really wish I had crayons, because I really don't know how to, like, verbalize these things, and I look at it on my phone, and I understand the problem, because I can't see the mouse either. So I'm trying to point at things, and I understand that none of you can see them. And this was the problem we had originally, and why we got the crayons the first time, but now we're back to no crayons, so we're back to... This is the case of the blind leading the blind all over again. I am the blind. I got nothing. Okay. So, this is our de-blare wind shear. If you can follow where you think the storm is, then you'll understand what's happening. But I can't tell you where the storm is. Because I can't show you. But again, there's a case of dry and stable air in the way of the system right now. And then if it manages to break past that and move away from it, then it has a chance of developing a little bit maybe better than what it has now. But right now it doesn't. For at least the next couple days, there's nothing there. There's too much dry air. It needs moisture and instability to develop. Go back to 2019 mode. James, I don't even remember 2019. I can't go back to 2019 mode. I was like 13. Was I? Yeah. Yeah, that's how math works. Yep. I've done it. I've done a calculation. So this is the 850 millibar relative vorticity, or if you read the whole thing, the 850 HPA cyclonic relative vorticity and geopotential height and wind velocity, which is too many words to say. This is the spinny stuff. So this one you can actually see the storm a little bit easier. If you look at where our X is, which is, if you can ever find my cursor, this little kind of blob thing of blue and some gray. On both the models, you can actually see it spin a little bit, and that makes it a little bit easier to notice. You see it kind of pick up on the GFS and get a little bit green, but like I was saying, around hour 90, 96, it starts to maybe pick up a little bit. The GFS picks up a little bit more, but the Euro is a little bit bigger. GFS is faster, but the Euro is a little bit larger, so it's a little bit easier to see. And then now we get up to day 10, and they are completely different stories, because the Euro is like, yay, it's gonna do something, and the GFS is like, what? There's a system? No, you can still see it a little bit, it's right here, but it's not much. But the Euro has a different opinion. So let me show said opinions. I don't know which one of these is which. Okay, this is the AI-assisted Euro. The next 7 days. I will show the next 10 days because I guess that's what I just showed. Yes, what Casper said. But this is, I just showed the next 10 days. So here's the next 10 days per the AI-assisted Euro. As you can see, the next 7 days really doesn't develop much. Maybe a tropical storm with these blue lines. Kind of. There's one if, I don't know, I can't point it out well, but there's one singular red line for like 2 hours in the very back. So, over the next 7 days, the consensus from the AI-assisted Euro is maybe a tropical storm, but not a whole lot of anything. The 10 days, we get into maybe a little bit more. There's a couple red lines, maybe half and half split or so, of if it's going to be anything worth noting or if it's going to be a tropical storm or whatever. They do tend to agree on some development, though. So, yeah, I know, showing the 10 days, showing the 7 day, I like to show both, just to see, because 7 days is usually more reliable, but you can look at the 10 days, but the 7 days is usually like, this is more likely to happen. Past 7 days, I tend to go, what? Maybe. I'd also like to point out the fact that there might be a second thing behind this. You can see a little bit on the 7 days of the AI Euro, and then at 10 days you can see a couple little lines. It's not a whole lot, and it's not super clustered, but there is something, and you can also see it on the GFS. If you look back here, you see there's a little spin behind it over here, and then it actually kind of turns into something, but that's past 10 days. So that's why I pointed out, because the GFS is like, hey, there might be a thing, but that's in La La Land, and usually we tell it to stop. We tell it to stop right there, and there might be something there. That's why I pointed out, but it's not on the NHC Outlook yet, and so I'm just saying, if you see those extra little lines back there, that's what that is. But yeah, at 10 days, obviously take with a grain of salt. This one's a little bit more reliable, and there's only one thing that shows a red line for like a couple hours. But once we get out to 8, 9, 10 days, might have some development. Ignore that. That was the ghosts of Christmas future. This is 7 days from the Legacy Euro, so non-AI assisted version. Shows a little bit higher chances of developing into something more significant, with a couple more of those red lines of maybe low-end hurricane strength. One of them seems to show it suddenly becoming a hurricane within the next 6 hours, which I don't think is correct at all. But, you know, sure, as we literally just discussed, the chance of it developing in the next 48 hours is incredibly low because of all said dry air and dry and stable air. But, you know, the European, there's a singular little... There's one ensemble that seems to disagree for some reason. That's like a 2% chance of that not happening because it's confused. And yes, there is... I mean, there's these two lines, but no, there's pretty much no significant CAG feature with the Euro AI. Or with the Legacy one, actually. Head out 10 days, there's a singular line out here, but ignore that. Because it's one line, so not even worth really considering. One thing I will note is the Legacy Euro versus the AI Euro difference in track. The AI Euro is a little bit more consistent, especially with the like curve back to the east, whereas the Legacy Euro is confused and sends it to literally wherever it wants to. Also has a couple things that are a little bit more intense, and seems to be in more agreement of probably a low-end hurricane, but it also has no idea where it's going or when, so yeah. Here is the GEFS. Not much. As you can see, not much going on. Not a whole lot at all, actually. There's a couple ensembles, 3 to be exact, that think that there might be a low-end hurricane. Everything else is like, I don't think that there's going to be much at all, actually. Heading out to 10 days, there's more. Where they think, okay, yeah, there might be actually a system. I hate that they use slightly different visuals for the European versus the GEFS because it makes it so much more confusing to look at. Like, why do these have different regions that they show? I don't know. I'm done complaining. I promise. I'm done complaining for the next 2 minutes. You have a 2-minute grace period before I complain about something else. So the GEFS has a couple ensembles that are a little bit more intense than what the European was showing, and they are a little bit more spread out. They're more spread out than the AI Euro, kind of with the Legacy Euro on. We don't really know where it's going, actually. We're just as confused as everyone else. And I have Google DeepMind because I was given a new toy. So this is a thing now. I have to confess that I've never used this until today because I haven't done a live stream in a really long time. But, let me see, how does this work again? It's this. Yay! Yippee! There we go. So this is the Google DeepMind model, which is the AI model from Google, I think. Yep, that's how that works. They have these cool graphs that I didn't know existed until Casper taught me how to find graphs earlier, so that was fun. I'm real tired. Okay, so pretty much in agreement with the, if you look at the AI Euro, and we have that consistency on the turn back up to the northeast, Google DeepMind seems to be thinking about the exact same thing of there's a couple outliers that send it west and keep it going west, but pretty much in agreement with it, it's gonna turn back out to the northeast. Let me zoom in a little bit. As you can see, there might be a Bermuda threat, maybe. I want to turn on the colors. There we go. As you can see, the models that do send it towards Bermuda send it towards Bermuda at a little bit of a higher intensity. So obviously keep an eye on it for Bermuda. James, I apologize. My internet is not the best on this computer specifically because this entire property that I live on is very much designed around using Ethernet, because we have over 200 devices connected to our internet at all times. So very much designed around using Ethernet, and I don't have the Ethernet set up fully in my room yet, so I'm using Wi-Fi that, while it is Wi-Fi created by none other than a deity, we have over 230 devices connected to it. So, you know, there's some struggling. The buffering is probably not your problem. It's probably not your fault. It's probably me. So, intensity distribution, our highest intensity does seem to come in around Tuesday, maybe late Monday, sometime around Tuesday. And that is also, unfortunately, around the time that it might be around Bermuda. So just... Okay, well, in that case, it might be you, James. I don't know. But just as a note, keep an eye on... I can speak. No, I can't. I'm lying. Keep an eye out for Bermuda, because there is a chance, especially if it doesn't make that northeastern turn fast enough, then it might head towards Bermuda. As you can see, the ones that turn sooner head away from Bermuda, but the ones that wait a little bit longer before they start heading north, and I really hate that I can't actually hover over these things without showing all of this little pop-up that covers up the things that I'm trying to show. Casper, can I make that stop? Is there a button that makes the pop-ups go away? I can't show anything. The things that turn later might be more of a threat for Bermuda. Unless they turn too late, then they miss Bermuda entirely. So it really does depend. And yes, I was about to say that. Leeward Islands, as you can see, we go over here. Oh, it gets even more specific when I zoom in. Interesting. But I'm just going to show Turks and Caicos. There's a couple models that go near there, and there's a couple models that go near the Northern Leewards, British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. These are more, I'd say, outliers because there is like 2 or 3 of them, but it's not out of the question. And then there's this guy. I don't know what's going on with him. And this. I don't know what's going on with that either. But it is technically not out of the picture. James, I haven't left the struggle bus in many, many months. Okay, excuse me. Alright, so, how do I get rid of this? I can get rid of, there it is, okay. So, Eastern Pacific. If anyone has any questions, please ask them and I'll do my best, or I will send one of my minions. And by minions, I mean my father and James. Okay, I had to take a drink. Yes, I can see that. It can zoom way in. I don't really see a need to zoom way in, but it can, clearly. So, Eastern Pacific has every color at once, almost. It's doing a lot, because it always is, because it's September. So, okay, this one's Disturbance 1. South of Baja California Peninsula. This is the big orange blob that you can see on the screen. I can't really distinguish these things very well once I get past orange blob. Okay, it's going to be orange blob and then yellow blob with no X and yellow blob with an X. That's what we're going to do. Okay? Thank you, James. Alright, so, orange blob has a 10% chance of development in the next 48 hours and a 40% chance of development in the next 7 days. Right now, not a whole lot happening with it, but environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for gradual development. What that means in English is that it's developing slowly. It's not in the conditions to really explode, but it is in the conditions to slowly get its act together, and then it might be a tropical depression sometime in the middle of next week. I'm glad that you all find it funny that I called you minions. So our second area, which is our yellow area with no X, yellow blob, no X, that's what it is. That one has a 0% chance of development in the next 48 hours and a 20% chance of development through the next 7 days. This one, it's not, nothing yet. The low pressure for this doesn't exist yet, but it will soon. And then once that area of low pressure develops, then it is going to be in a conducive environment for slow development, similar to this one. So the third area, which is the yellow blob with the X that's around Hawaii, why are there actual minions now? Okay, this is highly inappropriate behavior. It's not a banana. This isn't banana shaped. You're just hallucinating bananas. Because you're a minion, and that's how that works. They do that, actually. In one of the movies. I don't remember which one, because I'm not 5. Anyways. So. This one may also slowly develop over the next couple days. I'll get to that in a second, James. Near 0% chance of development through the next 48 hours, but a 20% chance through the next 7 days. And I will note, Central Pacific also technically has an area, because this is the Central Pacific. So there's outlooks on all 3 basins right now, because the Central Pacific, this Disturbance 1 is also Disturbance 3 from here. Shenanigans. Great. Great job, guys. You guys are in perfect sync, and I know that because you're sitting in the same room. You're cheating. Not fair. I do want to show over here. Where was this more organized that I could get a better... let's do this. Yeah. There we go. See? It's not a lot. But it might do something. It might exist. But it's not a lot. It might be a tropical storm. If they think it'll probably be a tropical storm, it might be it's probably going to be a tropical depression. But it might be a tropical storm. But it's not a lot. But it might be something, but it's not a lot. Discard. And then there's a second one. What's the best way to get this? Maybe like that. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now this one might actually be a threat to land. This is Disturbance 2, I believe it was. The yellow blob with no X. Might be a threat to Might be a threat to land, because it's Baja California region over here. Not a whole lot of agreement and intensity. Most of the models seem to think, let me clarify that. Not most of the models, but most of the runs of Google DeepMind think this one probably tropical storm. There's a couple of them that put it at a hurricane, and then there's one that randomly puts a major hurricane there for no reason. But just one. So everything else during that time is like, yay, tropical storm, and maybe a Cat 1 hurricane. Maybe. And that one single ensemble is like, rah! For no reason. So there's that. And then let me see. Can I get the other one? I don't see it. It's not real. I don't think it ran on this thing, because this isn't real. I'm gonna get here in a second. We're gonna talk about this. We need to talk about this. Let's go over here. Okay, so Joint Typhoon Warning Center. We have an area of interest. We have 98W. It has it's a low chance of development right now, which all that means on the Joint Typhoon Warning Center website is that it's probably not going to develop within the next day. That's what that means. But low chance of development. However, if I go here and I do this, it does that. So, my point is, definitely keep an eye on this one, especially Philippines and everything between the Philippines and Vietnam, Laos, southern China. I really hate the pop-ups, all of this, the Hainan Peninsula, this whole region, because at least Google DeepMind thinks that this one's gonna go crazy. Is this the second one? Okay, so, my bad. So this isn't even on the model? Or this isn't even on the Joint Typhoon thing? Oh, is it this? I'm a little blind. They're in the same spot. And this doesn't exist, but the second one exists. Oh, no, wait. I hate this. Why is this button the way that it is? I can't get rid of it now. I'm stuck here. How do I leave? Let me out. What have I done? Free me. Reload. I've made a mistake. I don't know how this website works. This website has a lot of buttons, and I'm going to play with them later. I'll show the European as well. The European is far less organized. This is a very clear cluster of things that you can very easily keep track of. This is the European, which is confused. So yeah. Not guaranteed, but keep an eye on. This is the wrong thing, and I'm sorry. Click on the tracks and discard will reappear. Interesting. I just closed the whole page because that fixed my problem. Um, but yeah, I guess there's that to be aware of. Not 98W, which is apparently its own thing that isn't here. But there's a second area that might, in the future, be worth keeping an eye on. And I think that that's it, which is good because it is 6:30 and I unfortunately have to leave soon. However, I will answer James' question, which sounds crazy without any context. James's question, for anyone who missed it, was how did it feel being a part of the $50,000 fine? For context to that, no, I didn't do anything crazy. Well, I might have, but I was at the Florida State-Alabama football game in the student section, and I was one of the people that stormed the field and caused FSU to have to pay a $50,000 fine. And how did it feel? Sweaty. It was raining, so wet. Loud. I hurt my hand in the process of jumping the 6.5, 7 feet from the student section onto the field. And I don't remember most of it because I was incredibly overwhelmed. But overall, it was pretty fun. The Marching Chiefs played every song that they know, I'm pretty sure, and then there was a voice that came over the speakers that told us to go home. Not even a joke. They had a thing come on over the speakers in the stadium that were like, hey, thanks for the support. Please leave the field. But we couldn't because there was too many of us and not enough exits. So we were on that field for almost an hour. So that, I think, is all that I've got. Oh no, we violated an ACC rule. Oh no. Whatever will they do? We messed up the grass. Uh-oh. This is so sad. Anyways. So, with that, that's all that I've got for the night, and I've got a bunch of things that I've got to go do, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But thank you all for watching, and I don't know, thanks for being here. Stay safe. Casper will be back tomorrow night, because I am unfortunately busy every single day of the week except on Saturdays. So this is the one day that you'll get to see me, unfortunately. But I am here. So thank you all, and good night.